In this video, I'm going to go over why I use and love the Apple Watch, especially as a parent. If anybody knows me, especially my wife and friends and family, is I love tech. And if there's anything that I can do to make our home a smart home, I definitely will. That means we have Philips Hue lights, we have the August lock, we have the iRobot vacuum that's connected to the Wi-Fi, of course. There's also the Amazon's Alexa. And my personal favorite are the Sonos speakers. We have the soundbar, the sub, two play ones, one play one, which is kind of confusing because there's a play one, but also a O-N-E. That one has the Alexa built into it. And then there's one, of course, into the room that we use like as a sound machine. The latest addition is the IKEA Smart Blinds feature, I want to say F-R-Y-T-U-R. And so these, of course, it being smart, you can control with your voice. But more importantly for me is being able to automate it. And so in the morning, the right side will raise up at a certain length, and then both of them will raise up around now 7:30. And then the afternoon, since the sun comes in pretty strongly, and we typically were manually raising and lowering the blinds, they go ahead and go down, and then ultimately go back up to then go back down again for the evening. And while many may not see the necessity to make the home a smart home, I personally do love it only because the whole point, in my opinion, when you are automating certain actions, say a light bulb that turns on and off, is that you're essentially saving time. For me, it's saving practically any second that I can in order for me to keep doing what I want to do, especially at home, whether that's cooking, whether that's reading, whether that's playing, whether that's watching a movie, and then of course spending more time with Kiran. Again, it may not seem like it, but it adds up. So coming back to how I use the Apple Watch, especially at home, when things are connected with it being a smart home, it's just a little bit more convenient to be able to control certain devices from my wrist. Let's go over the watch face that I use the most. So this is my favorite watch face. This is called the Infograph. Just to go right into it, there's a bunch of icons that represent apps. And these are complications is what Apple calls it, kind of confusing. But in this way, you can actually do things as if you were on your phone. So starting from the top upper left here, this is the remote app from Apple, which it controls the Apple TV. If I press the menu right now, it would turn on the Apple TV and then also turn on the TV. Upper right hand here is called Lyd, L-Y-D. And so this app is really cool because it controls all of the speakers that are connected via Sonos. So there's one in our bedroom, there's one in the kitchen, there's one in the living room. You can see right here that we were listening to Hamilton. So let's go ahead and press play right now. And you can pause it from there. You can adjust the volume. We have it connected with the living room. There's a projector that's connected to the Sonos and then our record player as well. Bottom right hand corner, I'll save that for last because again, this whole video was supposed to be why I use it as a parent. So one of my favorite native apps in the iPhone in general is the timer. So I have that on my wrist right here set up on the Apple Watch. And so you can set timers ranging from a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or even setting a custom to it. I use this in particular when it comes to blocking off just certain tasks for the day. So if I'm reading, I just want to be able to read for a good solid 20 minutes. Truthfully, that hasn't happened yet, but that is the goal in order to set these timers to block off times. But to be honest, I've been using this more so for taking a power nap. So I'll set it for 20, 25 minutes or 30 minutes. And that way, if I'm lying down and say Cherry's there, she won't get disturbed because again, it'll just go off on my wrist and it'll vibrate because I set it so there's no sound. Inside the face right here is a calendar. So I use Fantastical. So this one right here, we have a condo sprinkler system test that's later today between 4 and 3:30. And that's my favorite calendar app. And so that's right here if you can see it on the very top. On the left side right here is home. So this is kind of like the control panel of all your smart home devices that are connected with HomeKit. So if I go ahead and press this, you can see right now that the living room, or now it's just refreshed properly right now. So that is the living room. So you can't see it because in my camera, nothing's there. But if I go through it right now, I can go ahead and let's see, I can turn on the kitchen lamp. So now that's 75%. Boom, right there, it's 75%. I can press it again and then it'll turn off. There's a kitchen shelf, so you can see that right now on the back here. Pressing that will turn it on. Pressing these little three dots, I can go ahead and just adjust this to like say, 10%, whatever. And I usually use this setting in the morning, but then again, it's also automated. So at a certain time, rather around 6:30 a.m., the kitchen shelves will turn on automatically. So that way, when we warm up Kiran's milk, I can go ahead and see that right away. Let's go ahead and turn that off. There is the kitchen main light. So pressing that one will turn on the kitchen main lights. Go ahead and turn that off. We have dining tables lights that are set up. So that one's on the right. And then dining table number 1 is kind of obvious, but that's on the left. And then we have the bedroom. No, don't worry. Bathroom shower is really just a bathroom light. And we have some lights that I put in the nursery. So there's just 2 lights in there, both in the ceiling, and then a lamp that we can control. So I mentioned as well that I recently installed the IKEA smart blind. So I have this also here. You can see here, they're both open, technically at 100% because 100% light is coming in. So I can go ahead and just select this, and then the left blind will start to close, and you'll see that the light will be affected. Should probably take some B-roll of that. So I'm gonna record this of our blinds going up and down. So right now it's opening, and it should just refresh and say open. But if I go ahead and press close, so if you see that, the blinds are closing as I'm recording this. And then pressing it again will open it. That's the left blind, and then that one will be the right blind. So again, a lot of the devices that are connected already at home could be controlled via the app, via the Home app on Apple. And so that's both on your iPhone, but also on the Apple Watch. But for me personally, I prefer having like more of like schedules. And so whether it be the blinds, whether it be the lights, they'll turn on and turn off automatically, or being able to use Alexa, which is basically your voice. And you would say, Alexa, lower left blind, and then the left blind would lower. But continuing on with this watch face on the right side here, on the 3 o'clock mark, kind of can't see it because the second hand is blocking it, is the messages. So obviously for texting, I just like to see if I have any unread ones. And in the middle, of course, is Cherry. So this is like a shortcut for your contacts if you wanted to. By pressing this one, I can go ahead and give her a text or call her. And then of course, you could use voice as well using Siri, which for me, at least in my experience, has been a hit or miss. So coming back to the watch face, again, it's up to you and how you customize it. So if you press and hold the watch face and you press edit, you can of course change the color, but by swiping over here under complications, you can go ahead and change in terms of what you want to see. So as mentioned, I don't have weather here because, to be honest, we've been staying indoors a lot, and it's always just a voice command away from knowing what the weather is. But if I wanted to, for example, I can scroll down and then, let's see here, find weather. And so weather conditions. So adding that right here is basically sunny. And what I meant to show is more of like the degrees. Boom, right there. So now I've added the temperature. And so right now it's 52 will be the lowest in South City, and the highest is going to be 64, which it is right now. But the app that I did want to go over is the baby tracking app that we do use called Baby Sprout. It's the icon on the lower right-hand corner. And so for here, you can kind of go ahead and see, like at a glance, the stats of Kiran Rey. So we have feeding, sleep, diaper, and then pumping. So currently, the last feed was 2 hours and 30 minutes ago, and so she's kind of due pretty soon. So currently, she's still sleeping. She fell asleep around 11. We're going to wake her up pretty soon, but she's been sleeping for about an hour and 20. She surprisingly hasn't had a diaper since this morning, or rather it's been dry. And so I'm pretty sure we're going to be changing this once she wakes up. But you can see right here that if you are going to log, a diaper, it could be wet, poopy, or mixed. As you do so, you just go ahead and click the plus sign, and it adds it from there. And so this app has been really good generally. Again, you don't need the Apple Watch to function, or rather use this app. But it has been good because, working as a team, Cherry and I are always like, oh, is she still sleeping, or when's her last feed? and or how was her diaper, from the last change or whatnot. And so having this information collectively has been, again, really easy. And more importantly, we're both in sync and on the same page. And yesterday actually was Kiran Rey's 2-month checkup. And so some of the questions that he asked was, what are the total hours for naps? How much hours does she get per night? How many ounces is she feeding? So having parent brain, you may not know exactly these stats, but I was able to go ahead and look up these stats on my phone, via the app, and they have like a graph, summary feature, and then it'll tally up for you the total ounces and or hours that the baby was sleeping. So that pretty much sums up how I use the Apple Watch as a parent. Let me know if you have any comments or questions on Apple Watch, on smart home tech. I'm always reading up on the latest and greatest, so let me know.